Hi, this is Kevin Thomas, and welcome to the At Home Film Festival. It's still Oscar week, so we are going to take an up-close and personal look at someone from the Oscars. Can you guess who it is? We're going to see her in a minute. It is Glenn Close. She has the record for most nominations by any living actor who has never won. She's tied with Peter O'Toole, but he's not living. But she has yet to win an Oscar, so we're going to take a look at her movies and wonder where her Oscar is. She has 3 Emmys, like for this show, Damages. She has 3 Tony Awards, so she could not be an EGOT yet because she still needs a Grammy and an Oscar, so she's more of an ET. But let's take a look at her 8 Oscar nominations during this final week before the Oscars and see what went wrong with why Glenn Close doesn't have an Oscar. Glenn's first movie brought her her first Oscar nomination, The World According to Garp, which you could find on HBO. She is a free-spirited, independent thinking, modern woman who is so lively and brings such a breath of fresh air to this movie, which also was great for Robin Williams, who should have been nominated, but Glenn was nominated. This is a tough year, though. She lost to Jessica Lange and Tootsie, and in many ways, Jessica Lange should have been up for Best Actress, but she was for Supporting Actress, and she was great. So this might have just been a good nomination for Glenn, but I would not have minded if she won, because she was amazing, as is the rest of the cast, including, we've seen there a couple of quick times, John Lithgow, who was up for Best Supporting Actor. Glenn's second nomination came just a year later with The Big Chill. This is a great performance by her and actually a great ensemble cast, so for her to be singled out was an amazing feat on its own. By the way, you could find this also on HBO. This year she lost to Linda Hunt for The Year of Living Dangerously. That might have been an edgier performance, but Glenn was still really good. Should this have been her Oscar winner? I don't think so, but being nominated is always nice. Isn't that what they're supposed to say when they don't win? But in any event, yet another great performance. Once again, the next year, she was nominated again, this time for The Natural, which you could find on Starz right now. I actually don't think she deserved this nomination. She was good. I only remember one scene with her where she stands up in the crowd and inspires Robert Redford. She was really good, but Golden Globe-wise, Kim Basinger, or Basinger, however you want to call it, she was nominated for a Golden Globe. So Glenn coming out at the last minute to be the Oscar nominee was kind of surprising. But she was good. She's always good. That's why she has 8 nominations. But where's her win? Her win definitely could have come from Fatal Attraction, her first nomination as Best Actress, which you could find on Showtime right now. She is so amazing in this role, as is Michael Douglas. Now, many thought she should win and could win, but I agree, but I also agree with the winner. This was like a very tough year. Cher won for Moonstruck, so I don't want to even slight Cher's performance because she was great. And I personally would have voted for Holly Hunter in Broadcast News. But once again, any 3 of those, if they won, I would have been happy. I'm sure Glenn would have been more happy if she won in this really dramatic, suspenseful, almost horror-like role. She was so good, very over the top, but she didn't take it too far where she overacted. She took it just far enough. And then the next year, she was nominated for Dangerous Liaisons, which you could find on Pluto. This kind of came at the last minute for the Oscars. It did very well with the British Academy Awards, but during award season in the US, it didn't get a lot of nominations. It wasn't like expected to do anything, and it came out of the woodwork with a whole bunch, including Best Picture. Glenn, once again, was a nominee. And that was another tough year because Jodie Foster won for The Accused. She was great. So once again, this might have been one where I don't think Glenn should have won, but she's still great. I think Glenn's Oscar should have come from Albert Nobbs, which you could find on Canopy. She lost to Jennifer Lawrence, unfortunately for her. But this is almost her Yentl, where she not only is the star of this really terrific, underrated film, but she wrote it and she wrote the song. Minimally, which didn't get nominated, the song should have been up for Best Song. That could have been a real Oscar because Jennifer Lawrence won, even though I think she was better than Jennifer Lawrence. This movie is really terrific, and it thinks outside the box, and it doesn't fall into a Hollywood type of film. It's more of an independent European type film, and I applaud it, and I really think this should have been Glenn's Oscar. Glenn, this should have been your Oscar, even for Best Song. Besides Fatal Attraction, The Wife is the movie that everyone thinks Glenn should have won an Oscar for. This is the only one on the list you can't see for free on a streamer, but you could rent it for a few dollars. She, all year, was at the top of the leaderboard to win Best Actress. Everyone thought she was great, she should win, and she is great, and she could have won. I also do like the winner, Olivia Colman, for The Favorite, who came out of left field to take that Oscar. I'm sure Glenn was ready to stand up when they were announcing it. And I would have been happy if Glenn got this that night as well, because she is terrific in this movie. A career-making performance that was, once again, made her a bridesmaid and not the bride. The most recent nomination, and hopefully not her final and win, was Hillbilly Elegy, which you could find on Netflix. This has the earmarkings of being her winning performance. Alas, it did not win. It did win and get nominations also for Worst Supporting Actress, because this movie was either loved or hated, no one in between. I actually thought it was terrific, and it followed all the things that an Oscar voter would do. First of all, she was long overdue. They sometimes just give you an Oscar because you've been waiting, and she played a different character. She looked different. She had makeup on. She had an accent. So these are things that Oscars love, but alas, she did not win, even for sentimental reasons. She lost to Yo-Yeon Jung from Minari, who was also great, but Glenn, no one would have minded if she won for this. I don't. I loved her in this. I love her in so many things. Well, that's our show of the week. But before we feel too bad for Glenn, there are other people that don't have Oscars. There's a sound person who's been nominated 16 times and never won. 2 composers, Alex North and Thomas Newman, 15 nominations, no victory. And this year, we have Diane Warren, songwriter, up for her 14th Oscar. And even for sentimental reasons, I don't picture her winning because there's a song that's getting so much favor that could take the prize. So Glenn, though, is still young in acting. She has more chances. Maybe when Sunset Boulevard, the movie, comes out, she will win for this because she does have a Tony Award for this, and they are scheduled to make this into a film. So this could be Glenn's Oscar, if not other movies. She still has time. So Glenn, you keep giving us that quality work, and we will keep coming back and watching you. Speaking of watching people, I hope you come back and watch me next week. I would love to comment and shares, share, and please subscribe, and I will see you next week. And Glenn, this is not as if we ever said goodbye. We're just saying so long for now. You didn't know she could sing, did ya?